At 6:47 in the morning, Daniel is standing under a flickering streetlight, holding a $5 bill in one hand and a grocery list in the other. Milk, bread, eggs. Nothing unusual. Except Daniel has been counting every coin in his pocket since last night. He walks into the supermarket, compares 2 cartons of milk, and chooses the cheaper one. Then he notices something strange. The people who can afford to buy more are paying less. The family buying 12 rolls of toilet paper gets a discount. Daniel buys 4. No discount. The man with a full tank gets cheaper fuel per gallon. Daniel puts $10 in the tank and walks away. The poor don't always pay more because they choose badly. Sometimes, they simply don't have the luxury of choosing at the right time. And that difference quietly compounds. Imagine your washing machine breaks. If you have savings, you call someone. If you don't, you wait. 3 days becomes 2 weeks. Laundry piles up. Eventually, you spend $20 at a laundromat just to catch up. A small problem has become an expensive one. Poverty has a strange way of turning time into money. And when you have very little money, you often have very little time. That is where the trap begins. A person with $1,000 in savings can wait for the better deal. A person with $10 left until payday can't. They buy the smaller package, the older phone, the cheaper shoes, the loan with the higher interest. Not because they don't understand money, because sometimes survival doesn't give you the option to think 10 years ahead. And then comes the bill nobody sees. Stress. At 2:13 in the morning, Daniel is staring at his phone. A notification. Payment due tomorrow. He already knows he can't pay it. His chest tightens. He puts the phone face down. Tomorrow hasn't happened yet, but his mind is already living inside it. This is why poverty can feel exhausting even when nothing is happening. You are constantly making decisions with consequences you cannot afford. And the cruelest part? One mistake can cost more when you have less. A missed payment becomes a fee. A fee becomes interest. Interest becomes debt. Debt steals the next paycheck before it even arrives. And suddenly, you're not just paying for what you bought. You're paying for the fact that you couldn't afford to wait. But there is another cost, something deeper. Choice. When money is tight, your world gets smaller. You stop asking, what do I want? You start asking, what can I survive without? That question changes a person. Because wealth isn't only the ability to buy expensive things. Sometimes, wealth is simply the ability to say, not today. To leave the bad job. To replace the broken phone. To wait for the cheaper price. To handle an emergency without your entire life collapsing. That is the invisible privilege of having room to breathe. And maybe that's why Daniel's $5 bill matters. Because he isn't just holding money. He's holding the amount of freedom he has left. He walks back outside. The same streetlight is still flickering. The same city is waking up. Cars pass. People rush to work. And somewhere across town, someone is buying the same things Daniel bought. For less. Not because they are smarter. Not because Daniel is careless. But because money doesn't just buy things. Sometimes, money buys time. It buys options. It buys mistakes. And when you have none of it, even a small mistake can become a debt that follows you for years. So the next time you see someone paying more for something that looks cheaper, don't be so quick to ask why they didn't make a better choice. Maybe they did. Maybe the choice was never really theirs. Because poverty isn't simply having less money. Sometimes, it's being charged extra for having less room to breathe.